Incredible moment. Single dad discovers two twin girls touching Plea for bread. His surprising action. Charlie stepped out onto his porch, the chill of the evening air wrapping around him like an unwelcome blanket. Exhaustion weighed down his shoulders. His mind was still tangled in the chaos of the auto shop. Yet what he faced next shocked him to a standstill. Twin sisters, Kate and Annie, stood just a few feet away, their faces streaked with tears that glimmered like the last traces of daylight. They clutched a handwritten note, trembling hands revealing desperate pleas for bread. In that heart-wrenching moment, the suffocating pressure of his own life mingled with their anguish, gnawing at him from within. "Why can't I just look the other way?" he whispered to himself, guilt clawing at his insides. Charlie's father had always ingrained in him the notion that kindness is paramount, even when resources are tight. But even as he felt his heart pulling him closer to the girls, his mind echoed reminders of his own financial responsibilities. With Lily and Maxine expecting him home soon, two little lives dependent on his every move, he felt the burden of the choice heavy on his chest. Panic flickered in his stomach. What if I invite them in? What if I can't feed them and my girls? Internal conflict twisted like a storm, tugging at each side of his conscience. The families in their small Midwestern town had eyes that watched and tongues that wagged. He remembered last year's whispers about another struggling family. A small misstep spiraled into a town shunning. Would he place his children in that same spotlight by extending a hand? Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. Each second dragged on as he weighed the decision, heart racing like an engine trapped in a dead end. The memories of frugal meals his dad used to prepare flickered through his mind, the warmth of those dinners engulfing the cold of their circumstances. Food can be shared, laughter can fill emptiness. With determination, he decided to invite them in, to offer not just bread, but also nourishment of spirit, the kind that filled an empty stomach and a yearning heart. As the girls stepped through the threshold, laughter began to bubble, promising an unexpected camaraderie. But as their shared stories unfolded, so did the uncertainty of his choices. He watched their light dim under the shadows of their struggles. When rumors began to pulse through the community, Charlie found himself at a crossroads, torn between his instinct to protect and the values his father had taught him. Should he advocate for the twins, potentially unraveling the fragile security he had built for Lily and Maxine? The weight of this decision seemed more pressing each day, clawing deeper at his resolve as he considered the cost of compassion in the face of escalating tension. Then came the blow he had both foreseen and dreaded. The twins faced dire financial threats to pursue their artistic dreams. Charlie's heart sank. The world pulsed with injustice, and every heartbeat felt like an agonizing reminder that sometimes good deeds come with sacrificial prices. Was he strong enough to defy the world that judged the girls as lesser? He stood there, every ounce of his being pulled in two opposing directions, just as the doorbell rang, the sound shattering the fragile peace. Staring at the doorframe, he wondered what awaited him beyond that threshold, consequences he had never anticipated, burdens that could tear apart or forge a deeper bond. Charlie opened the door, steeling himself against the onslaught of uncertainty that flooded in with the overwhelming suddenness of the chime. Standing before him was Mr. Jensen, a neighbor whose weathered face faintly betrayed the concern he ineffectively masked behind rigid formality. Charlie's gut twisted, braced for what's to come. "Charlie," Mr. Jensen began, his voice low and deliberately grave. "We need to talk." That, Charlie thought, immediately raised the stakes. He could hear the twins' laughter, now fading, echoing through the house like a gentle reminder of the light he had only recently welcomed. Mustering all the composure he could, Charlie gestured for Mr. Jensen to enter, the very act triggering waves of unease. As they moved to the kitchen, tension thickened the air. Charlie became hyper-aware of the minutes picking at his insides. He shuffled through the routine of pouring coffee, but his hand trembled, spilling a few drops onto the counter. "Have you heard about the twins?" Mr. Jensen continued, barely disguising his perception as he leaned into the informal atmosphere Charlie had fostered. "Yes." Mr. Jensen leaned back, his expression hardened. "Everyone knows. You're putting your daughters at risk. People are whispering, it's not right." Words contradicted his inner belief in community spirit, igniting a flicker of reckless determination in Charlie's heart. "What does it matter? They need help," he argued, his voice rising, cutting into the uneasy silence that draped their conversation. "Help, yes, but you also need to think about Lily and Maxine," Mr. Jensen cautioned, folding his arms. "What kind of example are you setting for them?" That question stuck like a needle, thin and sharp. How could he justify his actions when his decisions now held the potential to fracture his daughter's security? The idea of his girls facing the same scrutiny made guilt hurl its full force against his resolve. But Charlie resisted the lean toward cowardice. He thought of the girls' earnest faces, their artistic dreams, not simply aspirations, but lifelines pulling them from obscurity. "Maybe I'm giving them something more valuable than bread," Charlie shot back, surprising even himself. His words hung between them, a declaration woven from desperation and hope. Mr. Jensen's expression shifted, a mix of surprise and cautious reconsideration washing over him. "Or you risk giving them false hope," he replied quietly. Guilt and determination balled into a complex knot within Charlie's gut. This moment wasn't just about a neighborly discussion, it was about a man at a crossroads, forced into reflection. Through Mr. Jensen's challenge, he began to reassess his own values, infused with memories of a father who fought for the underdog even when it seemed impractical. "I won't turn them away," he declared, the words spilling from his lips, infused with resolute defiance. Seen through Mr. Jensen's eyes, that defiance appeared reckless, but Charlie recognized a latent strength surfacing within him, a resolution to carve out his own narrative. And then the reality set in. Would that conviction hold as the pressure from the townsfolk grew? The echoes of past mistakes loomed in his memory, illustrating the stakes of being different. Just as Charlie contemplated the possibility of reinforcing those bonds with the twins, the kitchen door swung open, and in dashed Kate and Annie, bright smiles illuminating their faces, oblivious to the tension that had just engulfed the room. Their enthusiasm was contagious, yet the stark contrast of their joy against the looming turmoil nestled just beneath the surface only deepened Charlie's inner conflict. In that instant, a new worry crept in. As he wrestled with his ideals, would he inadvertently shield them from deeper struggles ahead? Charlie gazed first at the twins and then back at Mr. Jensen. Time seemed to freeze, and he felt the weight of 1,000 decisions pressing around him, culminating in the knowledge that he stood on the precipice of something far greater than he could fathom, a journey that could change not only his life, but also the lives of the girls who had so boldly entered his world. But could he truly delve deeper into this newfound resolve, or would the tides of skepticism engulf him once more, forcing him to double back on his convictions? As the girls leaned into Charlie, looking to him for reassurance, he knew that the answers would come, one irrevocable choice at a time. The doorbell rang again, and Charlie's stomach dropped. What lay beyond that door could shift everything. Charlie abruptly turned toward the door, his heart a cacophony of questions that threatened to drown him in anxiety. The laughter of Lily and Maxine faded to a distant echo, replaced by the sharp ring of uncertainty that reverberated in his mind.
He wiped his clammy hands on his jeans, took a steadying breath, and made his way to the door. What he found there shocked him. Two strangers stood before him, a man and a woman, both bearing expressions of desperation and determination that mirrored his
own inner struggles. The woman glanced past him, catching sight of Kate and Annie, and her eyes softened momentarily. The man, however, stood firm, his stature emanating resolve as he introduced himself. "Mr. Charlie Evans, we need to talk about your daughters," the man said, his voice an unsettling combination of urgency and gentleness. Instinctively, Charlie's features hardened. "What about my daughters?" he asked, the protective instinct flaring within him. "We're from the local outreach," the woman interjected, stepping into the conversation as if to diffuse the tension. "We've been trying to connect with families in the area who might need support. She hesitated, gauging his reaction, "about the twins. We want to help." Help. The word echoed mockingly in his ears, tinged with the weight of Mr. Jensen's cautionary tone just moments prior. His mind began to whirl through past encounters, each layered with judgment or misunderstanding, yet tinged with hope that perhaps this time could be different. "What kind of help?" Charlie asked warily. "What do you know about my daughters?" The man stepped forward, his expression earnest. "We understand they're artistically inclined. We've seen their work online. They need encouragement, resources, mentorship. We can connect them with artists in the community who can guide them." Charlie felt the tension in his chest loosen just a touch, but quickly countered with skepticism. "Why should I trust you? Help from people I don't know? What's your angle?" The woman's eyes held his, unwavering. "We're here because we care, and we believe in their potential. We figured it'd be best to approach you first, get to know you, really. This isn't a handout, it's a partnership." Partnership. The word lingered between them, ripe with possibilities, yet heavy with fear of dependence. Despite the allure, a nagging doubt began to swell within him. Could he allow others into their lives? Each person in the outreach might carry the baggage of his perceptions or the whispers that had already made their way through the community. "Sir, we understand the concerns," the man pressed, "but you're doing something brave by helping those twins. With support, you can amplify their voices. You don't have to do this alone." Amplify their voices? The phrase struck a chord deep within Charlie, resonating with the relentless drive he felt to elevate his daughters beyond the horizon of small-town judgment. He glanced back toward the kitchen, where Kate and Annie were engaging in a lively debate over their latest drawing competition, blissfully unaware of the turning tides of their fate. His heart swelled with the responsibility he felt, and yet apprehension gnawed at him. He scratched the back of his neck as desire wrestled against fear. If he stepped into this partnership, it would mean opening himself and the twins to not just new opportunities, but also new vulnerabilities, an unpredictability that could shatter the fragile balance he had worked so hard to create. Yet, deep down, he recognized the moment for what it was, a challenge, a test of his intentions, values, and dreams for his girls. Maybe this was the invitation to transform their lives into something richer. "Okay, let's talk," he said finally, letting curiosity break through the wall built by fear. He opened the door wider, cautiously inviting them into his life, aware that this choice might lead to a path he'd never anticipated. As the three of them settled into the living room, Charlie could feel the shift within him. A commitment was brewing, and with it, the specter of past mistakes loomed large, reminding him of everything he stood to lose. But it was in this moment of choice and action that he sensed the stirring of potential, the promise that perhaps he could indeed guide his daughters through an intricate web of possibilities, revealing talents he had yet to fully honor. As he looked out toward the kitchen, absorbing the sound of laughter, he realized that maybe he had been living in the confines of fear for too long. The door had opened, both literally and metaphorically, offering a glimpse into a world that recognized the beauty in uncertainty and collaboration. Yet, at the back of his mind, doubts lingered.
Could he navigate this new realm without losing himself or the trust of his daughters? As he began to explore this uncharted territory, Charlie felt the tension build around new questions, questions that would demand answers from the depths of his heart. What he didn't know was how this meeting would challenge his resolve in ways he couldn't yet fathom. The moment of reckoning was about to unfold, and Charlie was teetering on the brink of transformation. As Charlie guided the strangers into the living room, a palpable shift in energy hung in the air, a mix of potential and trepidation saturating the familiar surroundings. The laughter from the kitchen felt hauntingly distant, as if it existed in a different realm, one he was perilously close to losing touch with. "Thank you for agreeing to speak with us," the man said, taking a seat across from Charlie. The woman settled beside him, her demeanor warm yet professionally composed. Charlie remained standing, a reflex of defiance against the creeping vulnerability of the moment. "Before we dive deeper, I want you to understand something," Charlie began, his voice steady but revealing glimmers of the worry lurking beneath. "My daughters have experienced enough challenges. I can't have them hurt again, so don't think I'm easily swayed with grand promises." The woman smiled, nodding. "That's completely understandable. We want to create a space where they feel safe to express themselves, something that encourages growth and exploration, free of judgment." Charlie folded his arms. Was that truly possible? Could a partnership transform his daughter's artistic talents without binding them to the very insecurities he fought to shield them from? "What resources do you have?" he demanded. "What sorts of mentorship can you actually provide?" The man leaned forward, his gaze intense. "We have connections with local artists, workshops in various mediums, painting, digital, art, and even performance. The local community thrives on creativity. We just need to tap into it, and the first step is nurturing what they already love." Charlie hesitated, internally weighing the precarious balance of hope and fear. The scent of optimism teased him, yet the looming shadows of past experiences soured the prospect. Every hope he had clung to had previously unraveled, that creeping sense of betrayal of both self and family coursing through him like a ghost. "And what's in it for you?" Charlie asked, his skepticism edging back into the forefront. "I doubt you're simply here to help for free." The woman met his gaze with an unwavering conviction. "Our success is tied to yours. When we support you and the twins, it reflects our commitment to the community. We believe in creating a thriving environment. Your daughter's success would ultimately inspire others." Her words hung between them, bobbing like a buoy in turbulent waters, a potential lifeline. Raising his daughters was a blend of instinct and untested decisions. He had kept them sheltered, clinging to a protective paradigm that left little room for growth. But if he truly wanted them to flourish, perhaps he needed to push through his apprehension and consider this leap. "What if they fail?" he found himself questioning aloud. "What if I trust you and it backfires?" "Then we fail together," whispered the man. "But imagine the possibilities if they don't. Imagine watching them shine." The notion tugged at a heartstring Charlie didn't realize still resonated. An image formed in his mind: Kate and Annie, their faces illuminated by the joy of creation, with colors splashing wildly across canvases or captivating an audience with a spoken word. Charlie cast a glance toward the kitchen, observing the twins locked in playful argument, their intangible pulse of creativity flowing uncontained. A swell of paternal pride washed over him. He couldn't allow fear to stifle that potential. "All right," he said, his voice calmer, steadier. "I'll consider it, but your support will be contingent on my daughter's comfort. If they're not on board, then this isn't happening." "Absolutely," the woman assured, her smile genuine. "We're here to foster, not dictate. We'll make sure they have a voice." This was the pivotal moment, a choice not just for his daughters, but for himself as well, to break free from the chains of indecision. However, doubt lurked within Charlie, whispering insidious thoughts. What if this was yet another episode of misplaced trust? But perhaps this was a chance for healing, not just for his daughters, but for him as a father. As the conversation unfolded, Charlie felt his resolve begin to solidify, an internal compass shifting toward action.
But with every stirring of determination came a wave of anxiety. Could he really manage this change without sacrificing the precious bond he shares with his daughters? A turbulent realization emerged. Being a supportive father wasn't just about shielding them. It also required cultivating their independence through risk. The walls he had built around them began to feel stifling. But as they continued their discussion, a new apprehension gurgled to the surface. Would he navigate this uncharted path with the insight and strength his daughters deserved? Just as hope dared to bloom, Charlie sensed a fresh wave of uncertainty. What if the path he chose would ultimately test not just their desires, but his very core as a father? With his heart racing and thoughts swirling, the seeds had been sown for both possibility and conflict. And in that moment, a question emerged like a specter, dangling dangerously on the precipice of his reckoning. Would he rise above the doubts and unleash a transformative journey, or fall deeper into the shadows of his fears? The decision loomed, and the weight of change was about to settle in. As the conversation drew to a close, Charlie felt the atmosphere shift again, this time infusing him with a lingering mix of unease and anticipation. The decision to partner with the strangers had ignited something deep within him, a spark of possibility against a backdrop of trepidation. Yet as they concluded their talks, he glanced toward the kitchen one last time, the laughter of his daughters a siren call that brought him back to the present. "Will you let us talk to them?" the woman asked, her tone gentle yet firm. Charlie hesitated, doubt pulsing again. Would they understand what this meant? The weight of his choice hung heavy on his heart. "I need to discuss what we talked about today first," he replied, his voice betraying his internal strife. They need to be ready for more than just being artists. They need to be okay with taking risks. He hoped the twins wouldn't fear the change. It wasn't just their artistic journey at stake. This was about trusting himself as a father, too. As he walked to the kitchen, sweat dampened his palms. Every detail around him sharpened, with the clattering of plates and the aroma of freshly baked cookies wafting in the air. "Hey girls," he said, summoning a smile, though it felt more like a mask than a genuine expression. "Can we talk for a sec?" Kate and Annie turned, the laughter fading as confusion clouded their faces. "Is everything okay?" Annie asked, her brows knitting together. "Yeah, He took a deep breath, letting the scent of home ground him. "I had a meeting with some folks who want to support your art." Their eyes widened, curiosity fluttering across their features. "What kind of support?" Kate questioned, sensing the gravity in his tone. "And what do they want from us?" Annie added, suspicion lacing her words. Charlie's heart raced. He was asking them to absorb the concept of partnership when all he felt was the flickering flame of uncertainty. "They want to help you explore your creativity, offer workshops, connect you with artists, things like that. But," he hesitated again, "I want to make sure you both feel comfortable with it. No pressure." The girls exchanged glances. That spoke volumes. Their shoulders relaxed, and for a moment it felt like a burden lifted, a decision solely dependent on them. "Can we think about it?" Kate replied cautiously, while Annie nodded enthusiastically. "I mean, workshops sound cool, but we want it to be fun too." Charlie felt a wave of relief wash over him, but it was tinged with awareness. He was not simply their protector, he was learning to become a facilitator in their exploration, allowing space for their voices to emerge. This small affirmation from his daughters reignited a flicker of faith in his own judgment. "Of course," he responded, his voice gaining warmth. "Take your time. I want you both to feel excited, not pressured." That invitation hung in the air, each moment tinged with the promise of authenticity. As they returned to play, Charlie leaned against the kitchen counter, heart steadying. This partnership was not about surrendering to risk, but embracing it. A potentially transformative chapter, not only for the twins, but for himself as well. He felt lighter,
Yet another layer of doubt began to worm its way into his thoughts. Could he truly navigate this partnership to shield them while allowing them to flourish? Charlie decided to take it one step at a time, but each step lingered as a balancing act. He knew he'd have to confront his own fears head-on, even as they took their first strides into a world he had sheltered them from. Just as he indulged in this fragile sense of hope, the doorbell rang, cutting through the warmth of the moment. A familiar face appeared at the threshold, an old friend from childhood, alight with optimism, yet Charlie felt the knot of anxiety tighten. What did this unexpected arrival portend? Could he juggle another layer of complexity in the journey ahead? His heart raced again, tension swelling within as he confronted the reality that this path would invite new challenges alongside the possibilities already laying on the horizon. He steadied himself, bracing for whatever door had just swung open, both for the twins and for his own evolution. What awaited him on this next leg of their journey? As he opened the door, the cool evening air rushed in, brushing against the warmth of the kitchen. Charlie blinked in surprise, staring at Jeremy, an old schoolmate, brimming with the kind of enthusiasm that was equal parts contagious and overwhelming. "Charlie!" Jeremy exclaimed, his voice a vivid splash of energy. "It's been ages! I heard you started a family of your own. Mind if I step in?" Sure," Charlie managed, the tension in his shoulders lifting slightly, although a part of him remained on edge. This unexpected visit pulled him away from the introspective haven he'd carved out for himself moments before. He stepped aside, trying to ignore the flutter of discomfort as he led Jeremy into the kitchen. Charlie watched as Jeremy's gaze flicked around the room, landing on the sketches scattered across the table. "These are amazing," he remarked, a genuine spark of admiration in his voice. "You've got quite the little art scene happening here." "Thanks, they're my daughters," Charlie replied, pride threading through his initial hesitation. He felt a swell of warmth as he thought about Kate and Annie, their artistic endeavors appetizing their youthful energy. It was a contrast to the pervasive anxiety that had bubbled in him earlier, a feeling that he must now reconcile with the presence of Jeremy. "Wow, you really let them express themselves. That's awesome," Jeremy said, enthusiasm vibrating through his words. "You know, I've been working in a creative consulting firm for a few years now, and I'd love to connect you with some opportunities." The prospect floated before Charlie, an inviting glimmer in a cloud of uncertainty. Yet, as Jeremy continued to talk about his own successes, Charlie's thoughts began to churn back to the conversation with the strangers. He thought of the unease that had settled like a weight in his chest. While Jeremy's intentions felt warm, Charlie felt a simmering resentment bubbling up. Was this what he wanted for his daughters? Would mixing business with their passion dilute the very essence of their creativity? "Are you okay?" Jeremy's voice sliced through Charlie's internal debate. Concern flickered in his eyes as he focused on Charlie's distracted demeanor. "Yeah, just thinking," Charlie whispered, grappling with the ever-present fear of failing his daughters again. He glanced at the kitchen counter, momentarily lost in thought. Was he primed to open another door of potential? More projects? Time away from his family? A possible imbalance? He felt the floor beneath him shift, the precariousness of his position intensifying. "Look, Charlie," Jeremy continued, sensing Charlie's hesitance, "I know it seems like a lot, but you have to take chances. These experiences could open amazing doors for your girls. They have talent. It would be a shame not to nurture it properly." The sting of Jeremy's words struck at a raw nerve. Charlie's initial impulse was to lash out. This was not just about talent, it was about integrity, about wanting to keep his daughters innocent in a world that could quickly twist passion into commerce. He didn't want to surrender to the fear that those who didn't know them would define their artistry. "Maybe," Charlie said finally, forcing the words from a tight throat. "But I want them to enjoy the process, not feel it's a job." "Of course," Jeremy replied, although his confidence in Charlie's view seemed to waver. "But sometimes you have to mix work with art. They'll need it in the real world, won't they?" The question hung heavy, and Charlie felt the weight of all possible futures press down on him. As the internal conflict crescendoed, he realized that he was standing at a crossroads, not just for his daughters, but for himself. The father who feared inadequacies, and the man desperate to guide them to their true potential, even if it meant navigating uncharted territory. "I need to think," Charlie finally said,
firmness in his voice surprising him. "It's a lot to process." Jeremy nodded, respect settling into his features. In that moment, Charlie felt the rising tide of determination amidst the uncertainty. As Charlie walked Jeremy to the door, he understood without a doubt that he needed to confront his own set of expectations. Perhaps it was time to balance his role as a protector with that of a supporter in a world that demanded resilience. The door clicked shut behind his friend, but behind it lay an array of questions that bore down on him. What sacrifices was he willing to make for his daughter's artistic journeys? Would he be enough to guide them when the complexities of the world intruded? Charlie took a deep breath, a flicker of resolve igniting in his chest. Whatever lay ahead, he knew he couldn't walk this path blindly. He needed a plan, a calculated strategy to embrace this risk. And then it hit him, a sudden realization about his own hidden talents that could guide not just his daughters, but himself into this new chapter. But would he have the courage to seize it, or would doubt consume him again? The silence in the kitchen felt heavier than it should, lingering like the residual warmth of a setting sun. Charlie stood staring into space, the mere thoughts of future choices spiraling within him. He had dismissed the flickering ideas of panic that had crept in during Jeremy's visit. Still, the struggle to articulate his feelings about his daughters and their art kept whispering at the back of his mind. He moved toward the table, gathering the disarray of sketches, letting each piece brush against his fingers. The vibrant colors spoke of freedom. Each line drawn was filled with innocence and creativity. He could see Kate's eagerness painted in swirls, Annie's imagination swirling within sharp angles. It struck him suddenly, both his daughter's audacity and naivete echoed what he once had in abundance. The realization stung. Charlie had stepped back from his own passions for so long, and in doing so had weakened his role in the relationship they had with their own creativity. He remembered the dreams he had fostered before life's obligations dampened his enthusiasm. How had he allowed those dreams to fade? He couldn't impose his limitations on his daughters by projecting his fears. That would be the real failure. The sketches were more than remnants of the children's creativity. They were mirrors reflecting his own deferred ambitions. What if he employed his existing skills alongside their blossoming talents? He shuffled the drawings into a neat pile. Training could ground their artistic flourish, shaping a bridge between innocence and the reality that Jeremy had alluded to. The world demanded a certain practical resilience. Charlie felt a swell of determination. Art had to coexist with business. That was the truth of it. He could teach them the importance of balance, mentorship shaping their journey, rather than fear dictating it. If he embraced this concept, he would shift from being merely an observer of their art to being a collaborator, someone who ignited their creative spark while grounding it in reality. Yet, this process wouldn't just benefit his daughters. It could revitalize his attempts to reclaim the artistic identity he had shelved. The idea was both motivational and intimidating. Charlie allowed himself a small smile. Perhaps he wasn't as lost as he thought. But what of the dormant anxiety that began to vibrate at his core? He would need to overcome the very hesitations that had chained him for so long. Were his artistic skills still alive, or had life stripped away his creative prowess altogether? The confrontation loomed heavy. What if the courage he summoned became muddied by doubt anew? With the sketches stacked, he moved to the desk, pulling aside old papers tucked away in the corner. Discarded designs, notions unfulfilled. Each page bore the weight of abandoned potential. Charlie studied them under the dim light,
and a lightning bolt of inspiration struck. Maybe he could piece them together into a portfolio, reigniting the artist within. As he rifled through them, memories of late-night brainstorming sessions flashed in his mind, where he'd once felt invincible. What if he invited his daughters to join him in this quest? They could build something together, blending his experience with their innocence. The family could be a creative collective. It was a delicious thought he wished to savor. But was the world ready for such an unconventional collaboration? What if the struggle for legitimacy overshadowed the genuine essence of their creativity? As the possibility circled, a determined flicker ignited within him. Charlie spent the next few hours strategizing, sketching rough outlines of projects they could pursue together. Artistic goals that would honor their passions while respecting the realities that life would inevitably present. He knew he had reached a transformative moment. The need to embrace risk replaced his earlier fears. With clarity, Charlie vowed to set aside the time to work on this accelerative endeavor. It wasn't simply a creative venture, it was a reclaiming of identity. At that moment, the doorbell rang again, jolting him back into the reality of life outside his thoughts. Curious, he opened the door to find a neighborhood art teacher, someone he had seldom exchanged words with before. With an intrigued expression, she held a flyer for a local exhibition. Suddenly, Charlie felt the weight of opportunity pressing in again. Would he allow himself to say yes? Would this chance pull him further into the journey he had just begun to embrace, or jeopardize the balance he sought to create? The moment settled heavily, balancing on the edge of anticipation. What would he choose? Charlie hesitated, the flyer trembling slightly in his grip. The art teacher smiled, an encouraging warmth spilling from her eyes as she sensed his internal conflict. What did she see in him that he couldn't yet recognize in himself? The question echoed in his mind, stirring something deep within.
Back from the threshold, allowing her to enter, a tacit invitation to bring her words into his chaos. The kitchen, once a sanctuary of silence, brimmed with potential energy. Familiarity began to melt into something entirely new. Discussing the exhibition felt overwhelming because it beckoned him to confront his past ambitions and failures. Yet within that anxiety lurked the exhilarating possibility of resurrection. "This could be your chance," she urged gently, noting the collection of sketches adorning his table. "You should showcase your daughter's art. It would be a brilliant way to bridge their creativity and your own." Charlie's heart raced. He imagined being in front of an audience, his family's work on display. An intoxicating mix of pride and fear surged up. But it wasn't just about putting beautiful art out into the world. It was about revisiting his own voice, the one he had muffled for so long. As she continued to describe the exhibition, detailing the themes and potential connections with local artists, Charlie found himself sketching an outline of what this journey could look like. He envisioned working alongside his daughters, collaborating to create a piece that intertwined their narratives. "Imagine a mural," he mused aloud, sustaining a vibrant dialogue with his thoughts. "A family piece that showcases each of our styles juxtaposed against each other, yet cohesive as a whole." The art teacher nodded, noting this development in him. "That's a fantastic idea, Charlie. A testament to family, art, and growth. It could resonate with many." Her encouragement fueled a flicker of determination, igniting his dwindling confidence. Yet another voice within him remained skeptical. Could they truly create something worthy of exhibition? Self-doubt coiled tightly in his gut. Had he gotten too carried away with nostalgia? What if the rawness of their art wasn't enough? Charlie grappled with his thoughts, the momentum carrying him further. "No," he thought, a wave of firm resolve sweeping through him. "I won't let cowardice dictate my path anymore." His daughter's art had vibrancy and truth, elements that breathed authenticity into their expressions. If they could pour their souls into their sketches, then he could sort through his own tempest of doubts to bring forth something genuine. "Let's do it," Charlie said, surprising himself as the words tumbled out, vibrant and full of conviction. The art teacher's smile widened, recognizing the shift in his demeanor. "Great!
I can help you with the process. We'll rock this together, she exclaimed, her enthusiasm infectious. As they began to outline the collaboration, Charlie felt the unsettling weight of fear turn into a propellant force. They casually discussed logistics, from materials to the exhibition timeline. Yet, despite the excitement swirling around them, a knot of uncertainty remained lodged in his mind. He took a deep breath, wrapping his thoughts around the idea that this project was only the beginning. While he layered plans for the exhibition, the core of his mission, reclaiming his creative self amidst the chaos, still loomed ahead, shrouded in uncertainty. An image of his daughters flitted
through his thoughts. He pictured their faces alight with passionate focus as they worked together. As fear threatened to pull him back, he felt something new, the need to lead by example, to navigate the storms that lingered. Perhaps they could all face doubt together and emerge equipped with a more profound understanding of art and themselves. The decision felt monumental, yet Charlie understood it was not just an artistic endeavor. It was about forging a new legacy for his daughters. As he and the art teacher finalized details, adrenaline coursed through his veins, brimming with possibility and, yes, trepidation. In that moment, amidst bold strokes of ambition and newfound connection, a question pressed on him. What if courage wasn't about conquering fear, but rather facing it head-on, as a family, united in their struggle for authenticity? A sudden thought hit him like a bolt of lightning. If they succeeded, how would this act of creation transform their relationships? Would artistic expression be the key to healing the multifaceted bonds that shaped their lives? The dialogue hung in the air like a promise, charged with anticipation. But beneath the layers of excitement, a deeper confrontation brewed within Charlie. The truth he believed was about to unfold with the weight of their passion. What facets of his past would he need to confront to truly enable their collective growth? Charlie awoke the next morning with the remnants of yesterday's promise swirling in his mind. Sunlight filtered through the kitchen window, catching the dust motes that danced in the air. It felt different today. A sense of urgency pulsed beneath his skin, igniting his senses as if the day itself was urging him to act. He looked at the sketches scattered across his kitchen table, glimpses of a world he had tucked away for far too long. Each piece captured moments of joy, of struggle, of connection, the unfiltered creativity of his daughters. While they had not known any other life than living through colors and shapes, he had stretched himself thin in avoidance, hiding his artistic self from view. Today, he resolved to shift that narrative. After breakfast, he summoned his daughters, their laughter filling the space as they bounded into the room. Their wide eyes met his, curiosity dancing on their faces as they sensed something had shifted. "I have a project for us," he announced. The words hung in the air, thick with anticipation. "Are we painting like a mural?" one of them, Lily, asked, her excitement spilling over. "It's something bigger than that," he replied, fighting the tremor of uncertainty. As he began to outline their plans, he felt an electric charge with every word. The idea of collaboration morphed from mere sketches into vivid dreams, passion lighting a fire he had concealed for years. They spread their art supplies across the table, a cacophony of colors that mirrored their emotions. Each brushstroke represented not just paint on a canvas, but a desire to express their individual stories interwoven with one another. Charlie marveled at their fearlessness. They glided into their roles, confident and unrestrained, while he staggered under the weight of his past inadequacies. Watching them, he couldn't help but confront the nagging voice of self-doubt. He had been so hesitant to encourage artistic exploration in himself, fearing the vulnerability it brought. But as he picked up the brush beside them and let it glide over a blank sheet, he discovered the unique rhythm of their collaboration, where his shapes met their lines, creating something wholly unexpected but ripe with possibility. With each day of creating together, they not only painted but began to peel away layers of loneliness and fear.
They shared not just their art, but their thoughts and dreams, a tangible tension weaving through their conversations. Charlie felt vulnerable but alive, and in those moments, every hesitation slipped further into the past. Yet, as they started to fill the canvas, he sensed something more profound emerging: the need to confront his old definitions of success and talent. At times, another wave of anxiety crashed over him, picturing the rejection if their work didn't resonate as they hoped. Wasn't this the same fear that had kept him paralyzed for years? Charlie had always feared judgment, but now he began to see it as an opportunity to grow. As they stood together, debating colors and shapes, he recognized a hidden truth. Their art could be a doorway not just to external acceptance, but inward growth, both for himself and for them. "Let's add this here," he suggested one afternoon, pointing toward a spot that needed depth. His daughters nodded, eyes sparkling, illuminating the room as they pushed each other's ideas further. It was a small victory, but it felt monumental. In that moment, he wasn't just a dad or an artist. He was becoming both. Each brushstroke eschewed the limitations he had placed on himself. He glimpsed a reflection of the man he wanted to be, a father who encourages resilience and creativity. As the days pressed on and their mural transformed, so did Charlie. It became clear that they were not just creating art, they were reshaping themselves. But as they reached the final touches of their masterpiece, a creeping thought clung to him. Would revealing their combined art also unveil old wounds? What would happen when they stepped into that exhibition space, confronted by friend and foe alike? A sudden need for clarity surged through him. They had planted seeds of bravery, but could they truly weather the nurturing storm of judgment ahead? The ultimate test loomed closer, and as Charlie shared a look of understanding with his daughters, he realized the time had come to step firmly into their truth. Embracing the chaos of uncertainty, he whispered resolutely, "Let's finish what we began." Could this be the moment that transformed not only their art, but also their very lives? As they prepared for the exhibition, the weight of the impending showcase loomed large. Would they find their voices, or would the echoes of fear drown them out? As the day of the exhibition arrived, Charlie stood nervously outside the community center, the air thick with both excitement and unease. Time seemed to blur as he recalled the journey that led him here, a journey through fear, doubt, and ultimately rediscovered purpose. He glanced at the intertwined hands of Kate and Annie, their faces glowing with an appreciation for the work they had accomplished together. They had transformed an empty canvas into a vibrant mural, encapsulating not just their artistic visions, but a shared essence, a testament to their individual and collective growth. The mural echoed their past struggles and reflected their hopes moving forward. Gone were the insecurities that once haunted Charlie, replaced by a burgeoning sense of pride that surged within him. The exhibition hall buzzed with a medley of voices, laughter, and the potential for judgment. For too long, Charlie had allowed the concerns of others to stifle his creativity. But today was different. He had fought through that fear, and now he was ready to embrace whatever came. Stepping into the venue felt surreal. The sight of their mural hanging prominently on the wall sent waves of warmth through his chest. Charlie's heart swelled as he observed other attendees admiring the artwork, their eyes dancing over the colors and themes woven throughout. It wasn't just art, it was a story of resilience and love. "Look at how they're reacting!" Kate exclaimed, eyes wide. Annie beamed, her excitement palpable. Both girls were enveloped by the admiration of friends, family, and even strangers, their spirits buoyed as they interacted with the audience. As they took turns explaining their artistic choices alongside Charlie, every question that followed felt less like an interrogation and more like an invitation for connection. The vulnerability he once dreaded transformed into a source of empowerment. "We all learn from each other," he found himself saying, savoring the rhythm of acceptance rather than the sting of criticism. By allowing the girls to take the lead in discussion, he realized he was not only relinquishing control, but also reinforcing their confidence. They presented their vision with grace, standing taller as fellow artists. Meanwhile, Charlie vacillated between pride and humility. He understood that he was embarking on a new role, not just as a father, but as a supportive collaborator in their journey. As conversations flowed, would-be critics transformed into advocates, conferring admiration and encouragement. The art teacher, who had initially introduced Charlie to the idea of the exhibition, approached them beaming. "This is fantastic! The community needed something raw and genuine," she said, her voice laced with enthusiasm. "What's next for you three?" It was a question laden with potential and uncertainty, but Charlie felt ready. "We're going to keep collaborating, create more art, explore new avenues together. This is just the beginning," he asserted, confidence now palpable in his voice. The girls exchanged glances, their excitement uncontainable. "We've got some ideas already!" Annie exclaimed, prompting a flurry of chatter.
On upcoming projects, a series of workshops, collaborations with local artists, and community outreach efforts that would center around young, aspiring artists. The commitment to pushing boundaries was born from collective acknowledgement of their resilience. The fears that had once held Charlie captive dissipated as he witnessed the blossoming of his daughter's creativity, juxtaposed with his rediscovered passion for art. As the exhibition came to a close, emotions surged within him. Victory was not merely in the positive feedback, but in the profound personal transformation. He had conquered self-doubt, embraced vulnerability, breathed life into his aspirations, and, most importantly, solidified bonds with his daughters. Charlie allowed himself a moment of stillness amidst the bustling crowd. He felt the depth of connection encompassing two vibrant souls who had walked alongside him from initial hesitation to empowered creators. They had demonstrated growth, not just artistically, but within the very fabric of their family dynamic. The exhibition had become a manifestation of self-discovery. It was a bridge connecting past struggles with future potential, fostering an environment where creativity could flourish without fear of judgment. As they departed the community center, arms intertwined and laughter echoing throughout the evening, Charlie reflected on this pivotal chapter. He'd not only reclaimed his own artistic identity, but fostered a foundation for Kate and Annie, a legacy of courage, creativity, and love. He glanced at each girl, their faces aglow with dreams anew, and felt a sense of solid confidence, a striking contrast to the uncertainty that had shadowed him before. The journey continued, but now the pathway was illuminated with hope and possibility. This was only the beginning of a lifelong journey. Now, the time has come for you. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive emotional stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support. You need to be a part of this journey. Comment below your reactions and theories about this transformative ending. We want to hear from you. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this powerful conclusion. Let's spread the message of personal growth.